First of all, I'm by my profession, I'm a painter. So I'm not involved in, I would say, in the political actions or things like that. I'm afraid that maybe today's talk will not be enough strategic for you. But I decided that I will tell a little bit more about our project NSK State in Time, which we started in '92, like exactly 20 years ago. But because it's so many young people here, students and so on, I also decided that some introduction would be needed. Who I am, where we are coming from, and what was before we created NSK State in Time. So I'll just sit now. Okay, so yes, I see on the left what is on the picture, yes. So I'm coming from Irwin collective. I'm 20% of the Irwin. There are 5 members. Unfortunately, other members are at the moment, some are in Tallinn, some are on other duties. We have this privilege to, because we are more to be in more places, so that was the case today. Basically, before we created NSK State in Time, we started in the 80s as artists in various groups. First group which was established was Group Laibach in 1980, the music group, which I will tell a little bit more later. Then it was Irwin and Theater Scipio Nasice, and later on Design Studio New Collectivism. Well, we have been established in the time of, I would say, very strong civil society movement in Slovenia and also in Yugoslavia, where many new media started to ask questions about political system, how we should proceed with it. Is socialism a model? Do we need more democracy and so on? But we strictly decided that we will not be political activists, that we will be artists, and we will kind of speak from the point of view of the artist and through language of art. What you see here, these are NSK members by friends in 1987 during the performance Baptism Under the Tree Glow, which we did at that time. All groups were collaborating. It goes like this, yes. Here you see another photo of NSK, much later, where we are dancing together with the folk dancers as a kind of circle related to Malevich suprematistic element, because we understood ourselves as a kind of suprematistic body installed in the real social and political space. So here you see the chart of NSK, and at that time already we used this kind of saying that we are organized kind of similar as a state, but we didn't still think about ourselves as a state, of course. So here you have an image of Laibach. Laibach as a group appeared in 1980 in uniforms on the stage as a rock industrial band. Their idea was that totalitarianism and art do not exclude each other, and instead of tradition of the folk music in a Western rock, they use this kind of totalitarian model and a very specific experience of Eastern Europe. This was one of their first posters. I go briefly through just that you get a little bit of impression of, I mean, it's really very, how to say, quick. Here you see, the light is not the best on the projector, but okay, let's go with it. Here is, yes, that's a good thing. So here you see some images from the performance Baptism Under the Tree Glow, which was the first big project where all groups, Laibach, Theater of Scipio Nasice, Irwin, and New Collectivism were collaborating. it was a big production in an opening of the national stage. In fact, I would like to tell you also that our position was not basically modernistic, like in a sense of against something, of being contra. Our position was that we need better institutions. I mean, in the country when you even don't have a tradition, the avant-garde has no sense. And second of all, is in Yugoslavia, in power was a communist party which called itself the avant-garde of the working class. So we could, the place of the avant-garde was already occupied, so we could only come as a retro avant-garde. So our idea was we need better institutions. So we have been attacked from, I would say, from the government and from the underground art. So our position was a little different. Okay, so here it's theater has more phases. Scipio Nasice went then to Red Pilot, and in the end it transformed himself to Institute Nordung. Here you see one performance in Moscow in microgravitation in the Russian Antonov planes, which when they do free fall, they create a gravitation zero, and there was a theater performance done in Moscow some years ago. Okay, maybe just the latest news is that the Nordung people created their own museum. This is called the Center for Catalyzation of Space, and it is the International Center for Research and to the relationship between space and culture and art. Member of NSK Dragan Živadinov, who is also director, is also astronaut, official astronaut. He finished his study in Baikonur, Russia. Okay, this is just one example of the design studio, New Collectivism. This is a cover of the Youth magazine. As you see, Tito is cutting the Nazi flag. It symbolizes the victory over the Nazism. Okay, here you see the group Irwin. My colleagues, this is a painting. It's called, the photo is called The Mystery of the Black Square. We have been always accused of being on the border of being Nazi or not, because we have been dealing with these ideological issues of art. So we just did this work to be sure what we are and what maybe we are not. Okay, I mentioned at the beginning that I'm a painter. Yes, of course. So these are some examples of our paintings, very few. It's a series of the called Vassis Kunst, the Red Line, in which series we are investigating the status of contemporary art. We are just opposing different art styles from history, trying to show that ideology is something always hidden. It's always something what you don't see it and you have to reveal it. Another example of the Irwin painting, which we kind of recently switched them to the Irwin icons. Here you can see that how we are sometimes exhibiting our works. Here, this is called Irwin Live, and you have our paintings installed on the ceiling, and we are suspended from the ceiling, and we exhibit the exhibition, in fact. If you want to exhibit the exhibition, you have to have viewers who view us who are watching the paintings. So, this is very, very brief, just that you get a little bit of taste, you know, of what we have been in the 80s and also in the early 90s. Okay, I'm going now already to our issue. So in the 1992, we have been invited to Moscow by Victor Miziano and some other Moscow theoreticians, artists, to participate in the project Apartment Art. The idea of this project was that they would like to check if in the changed circumstances, apartment art, which was traditional in Russia way of showing works in the private apartment, still have a sense in the changed political circumstances after the perestroika. So we moved there in Moscow for 1 month, and we organized in Leninsky Prospect, in one of relatively center in Moscow, discussions and lectures, how we see ourselves, how we see the changes in the East, how we see our future. And we call this place NSK Embassy Moscow. So basically, after the experience of these 1 month discussions and the response, we understood that embassy, and through it, the idea of state could be a really useful channel for communication. We were not, of course, naive, and we knew information that we are not the first, probably, who declared the state and so on. But basically, when we come back to Ljubljana after this experience, we proposed to other NSK groups that we should establish a state. But state, not place in physical territory, but space located in time, in the state of mind. Don't forget that at that time was the time of the civil war in Yugoslavia. Not only civil war, also even more brutal than this, and also in Eastern Europe, the nationalism rise. So our idea to the nationalism, also to this kind of stealing the land, was the idea to create our own state. If we have been, before in Yugoslavia, state artists, and the state always say, you are not state artists, and we said, yes, we are. So we always appear like this. When this big ideological bloc dissolved, we have to create our own state to become state artists, our own state. So very early we went to the internet. In the 1904, we did NSK Electronic Embassy Tokyo, which strangely looks as a kind of a second life already. At that time, you could, when the internet was still very text-based, we created kind of virtual space. But of course, I would call it NSK State first life, not second life, so definitely. Okay, so the important part here is that in the 92, we persuade the Slovenian police ministry of Inner Affairs, the police minister, that we need a high professional passport. So we come to the idea to create an NSK passport, and by persuading the minister, we get a passport done in the state printery, which means it was better designed in Slovenia, and the quality of printing was the same, of course, And we started to issue the passports all over. It started like you have like the first groups in the catacombs, few friends and so on. But as it was mentioned in the introduction, now we already have 14,000 citizens all around the world. Most of them are cultural workers, not all. Many workers, curators, some are sitting also here in this auditorium. So in the sense of art and artists and curators and so on, NSK State in time is a superpower. So we are stronger than many countries together here in the region. I mean, in Austria, Slovenia, maybe Croatia together, Maybe Croatia is another case, but okay. So in this period, we started to do the project because we understood the idea of the state in time exists through projects, through artworks, through gatherings and so on. So we, in 1993, we went to Berlin and we opened there a place in the Volksbühne, which was, as you know, a very important place for also for Bertolt Brecht, and also there was a place which were very important shows were realized there. And then we also did, during the war, we come to Sarajevo at the end of the war, and we open our own small territory in the National Theater, where we were issuing the passports for the Bosnians during the war, who then used them to travel. Some of them traveled, but we don't have time today to go to details. If anybody's interested, I'll be here another hours, and I can tell more or show, even I have on video. Okay, so then in the 1993, we get invitation to participate to Biennale in Venezia, but we give the condition to Slovenian government and Moderna Galleria that we cannot represent the nation. We could only come as a guest state. So we said this is the condition, otherwise we are not going to Biennale at all. We are not interested to represent nations. I mean, for us, this question to reflect was very important. And at the end, it was so. So in the Piazza San Marco was a church, and there was Padiglione NSK as a guest state of Slovenia. So it was 90. So we have an idea to do this in the future again as a state, maybe open some pavilions for. We have a lot of artist curators, so this is there's some future state, but I'll tell later. Okay, you see, every country has to have army, has to have churches, have to have their own services and so on. So we started to ask different armies for collaboration. So we did about 15 projects. I will just show you a few, where armies of different countries are included in our concept, and they have to stay still for a period of half or 1 hour under our flag, and it's called NSK Garda. And they are wearing, this is very important, they are wearing also it's hard to see on these images, the cross, the ribbon, Malevich cross. So in a way, they became a kind of suprematistic army. So first one was from Tirana, second one I'm showing here was from Pristina, and the third one is from Montenegro, Cetinje. The interesting with the Cetinje one is that at that time they even didn't have an army. So Prince of Montenegro, who was involved in the Biennale, he said, our police is going to be our army. So this is the first appearance of Montenegrin army, before they officially were declared somehow. Okay, here we ask organizers in Tbilisi for 100 soldiers to write on a field in German. It's hard to see from here because it's not the best image. Was ist Kunst? What is art? So we just flew there to Tbilisi overnight, choose the typography, which was the most minimal, to create this. It's unbelievable. In 3 days, we get 100 soldiers. A week after, there was already a revolution. It was already, big changes and so on. We didn't forget Graz, of course, and this is a procession with our painting icons. This is the proof that our paintings are icons. And this is one of the parish churches here, when the priest is also curator, I think collector as well, of contemporary art. And he was very open to do it so. So you see, not that we only establish collaboration with different armies, we also establish collaboration with different clerics and priests and so on. So the second one is, this is the ex-bishop of the Macedonian church. He's also a kind of post-conceptual artist himself. And we also did a procession with him. And now we are talking with some rabbis and also some other religious groups. So we will have a series of this. And here is a break. Why is a break? Because one person, Haris Hararis from Slovenian Athens, and some people around it, find about NSK State, and they create their own page. NSK State at the beginning was called the Slovenian of Athens, and they started to behave as citizens. So they create their own news and so on, and basically we decided we don't need an internet site because it's done already by the citizens. So this is the right thing to do. Citizens are the ones who should be included, and this is, the state should be for them. So from this time on, many activities started, which I will point later. What you see here, this is an ex-Slovenian Minister of Foreign Affairs, which almost lost his job because he publicly on television proposed that Slovenia should make a diplomatic relationship with NSK State in time. His boss, Prime Minister, almost fired him. He's of our generation, but I think now he is under the investigation because of corruption, but that's, here is, you see this, we have been one of the first who recognized Kosovo. Here you can see me, how I'm giving the diplomatic passport to General Agim Čeku, who also opened the Mulici Prize exhibition, the first one, I think, like 4 or 6 years ago. And then another break happened. We find on our bank account suddenly that there's a lot of money, but we didn't know exactly why. So it was quite some money. I'm not going into details, but why it happened is because I will be quicker, yeah. But why it happened is that many people from Africa and Nigeria apply for our passport. The system works like this. you fill the application form, you pay €24, and you send it to us. So basically, the money is on the bank. We were shocked because we find out that there is 2,000 applications in a very short period of time. We didn't know what's going on. It's going to be thousands more, or thousands of what? We have been very afraid because we know that something here is wrong. And then we find out that many of them are living in London, so we come to London and organize in the ICA London meeting with Nigerians who are living in Peckham and explain them a story. We told them, please understand that this passport is not for travel, that this can cause big troubles if you come to the border and so on. Please tell your friends and so on. We have institutions, if you don't like the passport, we would give it money back, but nobody wanted that. Some people are saying, some people didn't understand at all. Some people are saying, but it's not a country, because we were explaining, but maybe one day will be. And some people say, we heard that the black people are living very well in NSK. So we became a kind of imaginary Andorra, a kind of beautiful, beautiful country where in the north of Yugoslavia, between Austrian and Swiss and French Alps, or something, I mean, we became this kind of imagination of these people, so. But of course, we have to ruin the picture because it was dangerous to have this, so. And then, okay, this is interesting, sorry. This is an interesting document because people were mixing NSK and also Slovenia, so they sent a few thousand letters to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They would like to have NSK passport. And this is the answer of the Slovenian government that Slovenia and NSK are not the same. Very nice, kind answer, They said that NSK is a kind of cultural project. But they forgot that state is a cultural project too. By Hobbes, it's a cultural project. State is a cultural project. If enough people believe in some symbols or some kind of, there is a state. I mean, what kind of, that's another question. Okay, so what was the natural next step? The next step was we wanted to come to Nigeria, to talk with people there, because we wanted to come to the heart of where the problem starts. Not the problem, but I mean, it could become a problem because if there will be thousands and thousands more. Luckily, the Center for Contemporary Art, through the one curator, she's now I think she's working now in Tate, she invited us to Lagos to organize the conference. I think it was toward the double consciousness. So they organized meetings with other citizens. So we have to face what we created. 2 members of Irwin, we come to Lagos. And can you imagine, you come from Ljubljana, you come to Lagos, and you understand that there is a few thousand people who are part of your project. So there was more people involved in us, in our project, than in Ljubljana, in a way, So then we start to organize meetings, interviews, dinners, and so on. And of course, they started to explain why they decided to take the passport. And of course, this kind of truth was quite complex. It was not very simple. As you know, so many scams come from Nigeria, but we became unwillingly scammers too, So, because this passport, some people believe that this is a passport you can travel. So, what was good, that after this, the demand for the passport decreased because they understand that this is not something they could travel, they could go, and so on. And it was a process. We were in the media in Nigeria, but sometimes the media would report, don't believe these 2 guys from Slovenia that there is no NSK State. They lie. There is. I know some people who were there. And people are saying in these interviews, we prefer more NSK than Nigeria, And and they don't have this idea of nation, because in Nigeria you have different tribes who function under something as a close to nation, but it's completely different. Okay, so there is another thing. So I'm also talking about these unpredictabilities, because you start something, and then you don't know what's going to happen. You put the message to the bottle, throw the bottle to the sea, and somebody finds it on another, and it's addressed to him. It's exactly what he needs, So basically, these Nigerians just needed passport. They were, in fact, all these people, they were of different professions, but they all have this kind of idea that they would like to participate in something. And they cannot. They completely cut it. This is absolutely really heartbreaking when you come to the situation. You understand what it is. And you cannot help. Then another phenomenon happened is that people in different places in the world started to use iconography of NSK group and NSK State as a source for their own artworks. So Alexei Monroe named this phenomena NSK folk art. So at the moment, it's crazy because we recorded more than 200 or maybe even 300 artifacts of different artists who are professionals, some amateurs, and so on. Here is one artist, Charlie Kraft, from west coast of the United States. He's doing a kind of pottery ceramics from NSK embassies. I mean, so I'm just showing a few things. Here you have a work of some, oh, sorry, it's moving by itself. Some people who are repeating the NSK Garda in Reykjavik. This is the coastal guard in Reykjavik. And these people are sometimes showing this, sometimes sending to us. This is the work of Avi Pichon from Tel Aviv. Sorry, I'm not good with this technique, but so he did this with, in collaboration, Gesamtkunstwerk with in a German and this special, typical German type of letter, and with David Starr. This is the work we get from Nigeria. Some Nigerian sent himself as an artifact. He said, "I'm a citizen," so that's his kind of almost body art in a way. So here is one work of artist from East Coast. He transformed his house to NSK library. It's open 3 times a week for, you can watch films, you read books and so on, and organize meetings and so on. Okay, I have to go a little quicker. So when we see so many activities, we propose to citizens that they should do their own congress. They reacted positively, and 2 years ago, in the Haus der Kultur und der Welt, happened the first NSK Citizen Congress where delegates came from all the continents. There were, as you see, there are delegates and some of NSK members, and for 3 days intensely discussed what to do with the state, how to treat it, how to use it, how to adopt it. And the idea was that we reflected and we didn't know what happened. It's completely unpredictable. It was completely unpredictable what is going to happen. So what happened later on, you will see. But first, I would like to go a little bit.
Mira, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, I'm finishing now.
You are really exciting.
Okay.
You know that.
Okay.
And you could go on for hours.
Yes. Okay, I'm just 2 sentences. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, we created different posters on NSK State in Time, which we are putting in different countries. Citizens are organizing their own events, which are called NSK Rendezvous, which are happening in Paris, London. The latest was in MoMA, New York, and there is a new project going on by citizens, which is the first folk art biennial in 2003 in Leipzig. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just a last question. Is it still possible to enter the state?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. I'm sorry. I thought I have to disappear.
No, I just wanted to know if there is there an option to become a citizen?
Yes, of course. No, we have no rights to deny anyone to become a citizen, and we do have a website where you can apply, and of course, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all for now.
Yeah.